I'm Heather Angel. I am the volunteer coordinator at the Richmond location of the Madison County Public Library, and we're going to take a tour of our location. So let's get started. These are our music CDs. They are categorized by genre, and they are loosely alphabetical by the artist name. So we're going to start front to back from the top, left to right. So front to back, left to right, top to bottom. Now you have to imagine that our shelves are a book. So this is going to be your page. So you've got your paragraph, go to the end of your page, and then you start a new page. So when you get to the end of your pages, you're going to go all the way back here, and this is going to be the end of your book. And you finish shelving the CDs. Now I do want to point out that you're going to probably be asking yourselves, how do I know what genre? So we've got a little cheat for you. This one has a little yellow sticker right there. Tells us this is going to be rock music. Now, some of our CDs have a little extra cheat sheet. Let's see. This one, we've started a new thing, has it on our spine label. So you get a little extra cheat sheet on this one. We're going to try to change all of them to say that, so you'll get a little double there. Alright, let's move away from CDs and let's talk about DVDs. These are our nonfiction DVDs. So they're going to be shelved with the Dewey Decimal System. Now don't freak out. Dewey Decimal does not mean you have to know, oh my gosh, this is the science section. All you need to know is how to count. So 001 is going to be the beginning, and you just count up. Again, this is your book, so your paragraph, your page, and then you go on to the next one, and then you end with your book. On the other side of these shelving units, we have our fiction DVDs. So we're going to just move on. These are going to be your movies, and they are shelved loosely alphabetical by the title. So they're probably going to have like a big M or a big T across the top. If not, they're going to have the label on the bottom there on the spine label. They are starting over at the far end behind the nonfiction DVDs and working their way all the way to the end of this section. Something you may notice when we're shelving here is that we're going to have the Blu-rays at the beginning of each letter section. That's a really easy way to kind of tell you we're in a new letter, and it just makes it a little easier to find when you're looking for Blu-rays versus looking for DVDs. Alright, so let's move on along to the other side of this section. Here, television shows and series. So just like with the movies, they're going to be loosely alphabetical by the title, and on the spine label, you're going to see that they're going to have, of course, this title, and they're going to have a little series label right there at the bottom. So if you're not sure if it's a TV series or not, that's your little cheat there. Always check your spine labels, because they are going to be your cheat. They're going to tell you what location they go to and in what order they go in, everywhere in the library. And again, just like they were earlier, this is your book, this is your page. Paragraph, page, book. Alright, let's go on. This shorter section here, these are your children's DVDs. Just like with the adults, they've got this letter sticker at the top. J is going to be your cheat to tell you that they're children's. So J here on the spine label. If they don't have this J, they're going to have this teddy bear sticker. So either of those, they're going to go in these shorter shelves. If they don't have those, obviously they're probably adult. So that's both sides of this unit are going to be kids' DVDs. Alright, let's move on. We have PlayStation, Nintendo, and we have Xbox. The only way that these are separated out is by system. So, like I said, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox. It looks like we've got them by like the generations of the games. So PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. So you don't have to get anything really fancy over here, just as long as those are together. Because people really aren't looking for a specific game, they're just excited to find games. let's move on. This is our children's area. So we're going to find children's books over here. The first thing we're going to come to are the the juvenile fiction, or the junior fiction. People call them either way. So they're going to have a JF on the spine label. So there's your JF to tell you where they go. And there's a few things you're going to find over here. You're going to find that we have audiobooks shelved over here. So there are going to be an audiobook case, and they're going to probably say CD or Playway. We have those as well. And those just get shelved right along with the books. Something a little weird you might see over here, you're a little unsure, JPBC. You're going to find those over here as well. Those all just get shelved right along, and they're all going to be alphabetical by author's last name. Now, of course, if you've alphabetized before with the books, it's alphabetical by author's last name, and then if you have a bunch with the same author, it's alphabetical by book title. So we've come to the end of juvenile fiction, and we've come to juvenile nonfiction, which I apparently am really excited about. So these are just like the DVDs that were nonfiction. So they are going to have this spine label that has a J, so you know it goes in the juvenile section, and then that Dewey Decimal number. Now, something about the Dewey Decimal number, actually I'm glad I grabbed that one. If you have the exact same number and you're not sure which one goes first, you're going to go by those letters. So if numerically they're the exact same, then you go alphabetically. And that's the same for every part of the library. So left to right, top to bottom, we're going to move this way. So something I like to point out, and this is true for any section of the library, you get to the bottom of a shelf, and let's say that this shelf, the very bottom, ends with the number 519, and you have a book that is 520. Great. It's going to end and go right here at 519. Well, let's make sure it doesn't go across the other side, because maybe that's 520 there. Just double check before you get too excited, because it may mess up the shelving just a little bit. It's not a horrible thing, but just check. Juvenile nonfiction actually ends here with the numerical, and then we're going to start with the juvenile biographies. So those are going to have a JB, juvenile biography. That's what that B stands for, is biography. And then they're going to be alphabetical by subject matter, so who they're about. So this one is Martin Luther King Jr., so it's going to have that KIN. And that's just this entire section here. And it's pretty easy. Like I said, that spine label tells you exactly where to put things. So the next thing we're going to go to are picture books. And they're going to start where that sign says, "Reading is my superpower." It's a little stone sign there under our mural. And they're going to have these nice little colorful labels underneath. That is the last initial of the author's name. So they are loosely alphabetical by the author's last name. So A's are with A's, B's are with B's, and so on. So it's a pretty easy section to shelve. Just remember, these are a little bit harder to find your cutoff. There's a little split in the shelves, just like every other section, and that's going to be the end of your page. Then you go up to the next section. And make sure you really look at that letter, because there's a lot of duplicate colors. So A's are pink, M's are pink, S's are pink, Y's are pink. Definitely make sure that they're the letters that you're putting together and not just the colors. All right, let's move along. Then we have the beginning readers. These are a little bit different. You can probably see they're not as big. They're shaped a little bit different. They're all kind of shaped the same. They also have a letter sticker on the spine. They're not as colorful. They also have LEV 123 because they are numbered level. But they're shelved just the same. They're shelved with that letter sticker. Oops. And they take up this entire section here. They actually end here. And then we start the easy nonfiction. It's kind of a similar shelving setup. So they're going to have E and F, and then they're going to have, ENF, and then they're going to have this number sticker. And it seems a little odd, but they're actually going to be, all of the 3s are together, all of the 4s together. They're not in any numerical order beyond that. And that is this entire unit here. That'll end this whole unit. There are no ENF biographies. All the biographies are just going to be JB in this section. Other than that, you see in the windowsills there's some kits. Pretty much just put the kits together as best you can. It looks like this one actually does have some numbers on the spine, so that's a good little setup there. We may move that one, it's a little tall for the kiddos, but usually Mom and Dad are the ones who pick those out. So let's move on to board books. So a board book is just a book with the harder pages for the small kids, so they can't tear them as easily. And so board books have BBK on the spine label, and then this is the author's name, or the first 3 letters of the author's name. And we try to do them a lot like the picture books. They just don't have that nice sticker on the side. So A's with A's, B's with B's, and so on. And it is okay to display these on the top like we would the end caps in the other area. So we have a tiny little Spanish section here, and it's just a condensed version of the rest of the kids area. We've got picture books here, and then we've got some juvenile fiction and then some nonfiction there. They should have a Spanish sticker, and the spine label should say, let me find one here that has both. Spanish and then non-English. So you should look for both of those. And they're just going to be right over here for anyone who's looking. And if you're not sure, just ask. There should be a staff member handy at the circulation desk or roaming around that you should be able to ask. This is the juvenile graphic novel section. This is going to be, just like the other sections, alphabetical by author's last name. You're going to find spine labels that are Graph JF and Manga JF. We have both right here actually. So this is the Manga JF and the Graph JF. Just shelve those alphabetically by author's last name. You don't have to worry about separating the two things. We don't have 2 separate sections for those over here. When you get to the end of the JF, there will be some nonfiction at the end. Just do those just like a regular nonfiction section. Just start them as soon as fiction ends, just start the nonfiction. Do remember to make sure that it has the J in the call number there, because if not, you're going to get a little too graphic for the kiddos, and we really don't want that. Make sure that it goes in this section. Alright, let's move along. This is the last thing to show you over here, and then we're going to move on to a new section. These are the 100 books to read before kindergarten. Have a nice little brochure there, but you don't have to try to figure that out. We have a big blue dot on the spine. That's how you know it goes in this section. And you can either put them on top of the table or put them on the shelves on the side. And try to make it look neat. It's a little disheveled right now, but we can always fix it, and we can make it look, we can have them look spines out like a regular bookshelf. We can have them on display, however we want to do it. We can change it up when we need to. So you can even be creative over here. So just remember that for this section. Alright, let's move along. So we're going to go to the large type section. They're going to have the LT for large type or large text. They are alphabetical by author's last name. And excuse me while I pull one that's been misshelved. It happens. Alphabetical by author's last name. What you're going to find is there's going to be quite a few that are going to be the same author. So like I said before, same author, make sure that you shelve them alphabetical by title if they're the same author. And something else we want to remember to do is try to make the shelves look neat. So pull those to the edge and let them, just straighten them up there when you get a chance. Sometimes it gets busy. Alright, so this goes all the way to the end of this shelf, jumps, and all the way there. And then we're going to just slide right through here. These are the paperback books. This whole wall is paperback. They are shelved by genre. They're going to have genre stickers on the spine. They go romance, mystery, horror, sci-fi, western. And they are shelved alphabetically by author's last name within each genre. Something I don't like is to shelve them like this. That is not how we shelve. Make sure you fit them in where they go. Now, it is okay to shift. If you've got a shelf that doesn't have as many books on it and a shelf that has kind of too many books to shelf, absolutely shift. As long as you keep them in order, shift the shelves. And that's any section in the library. Audiobooks, books, whatever. Keep that in mind. Alright, let's see. I think we're good. Oh, well, I guess I should probably point those out to you. Let's find a good one with a good dark spine label. So PBC means paperback collection, and then that's your genre label there, and then that's the author's last name. So paperback collection, alphabetical by author's last name. Alright, so I've shown you that, and then I'm going to show you some a little bit more confusing things, but before that, let's talk about Spanish section. This is the adult Spanish section. You've got your non-English and your Spanish label, and this is the fiction section, shelved just like the other fiction section I'm getting ready to show you. This is the non-English nonfiction section, shelved just like the other nonfiction sections. And this is the fiction section, alphabetical by author's last name, of course, left to right, top to bottom, your page, your book. This whole section is your book. And there's a few confusing things over here. So, first confusing thing, this book has the PBC spine label, but it has a fiction genre sticker. Because it has that sticker, it lives with the fiction books. There's another fiction sticker that you'll see over here. It is the urban fiction on the PBC. So when you see that, it lives over here. Alright. And then we have the suspense label. This one has double things to tell you. So we don't have a suspense paperback section, so it's going to live in fiction. Also, PBCF means fiction, even though it is a paperback book. And then we have the paperback fiction without the genre label. This is a fiction book, so it lives in fiction. I know it's super confusing. The good news is, if you're not sure, just ask. Always be willing to ask, because we were definitely willing to answer your questions. And we're going to move right along to our adult graphic novel section. So these should have a spine label that say Graph F and then the author's last name. They are going to be alphabetical by author's last name, just like the other sections. And I do apologize, these are by the windows, and it does kind of drain the color from the spine label. So if you're ever back here and you're shelving and you really just cannot see the spine label, please bring it to us. We will make sure that gets taken care of, because we can take care of it. It's just, we don't always see them. Alright, and there is a nonfiction section back here. So fiction, nonfiction, and biography. Nonfiction is just going to have a graph label at the top, and then you're going to have a number. And you'll know it goes over here because it's not going to have anything to tell you it's adult. It's just going to be graph and then a number. So now we're going to look at the audiobooks. So this is our nonfiction section of audiobooks. So just like the other section, it is going to start at the top, and we do have little step stools around if you need them. Just numerical, just count up, and it ends at the bottom. It does not have biography at the bottom. I'll show you where the biographies are. Once you get there, these are fiction, alphabetical by author's last name. You are going to find that you have F and YA, if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say that. Adult fiction is F, and then young adult is YA. And those just get shelved right along, so they're in your file. And just like every other section, you're going to have your page, and you're going to just do your book. Oh, something I'm going to point out since I saw this one. make sure you tell the difference between a B and an F. This is a biography. That happens all the time, and I don't know why it happens in audio more than any other section, but make sure you tell the difference between F and B. So speaking of B's for biographies, let me show you where those are. Biographies start there. So this little spot here is going to be your biographies. So make sure that your B's are in there. And something else I'm going to show you. This is a Playway. Those do get shelved right along with the other audiobooks. They're just a little MP3 player. Just put in a battery and headphones if you're interested. Cool little thing to have. And those just get mixed right in with the CDs. Alright, let's keep going. This is Manga, if you're not familiar. It's kind of like a Japanese graphic novel. So this section, the ones on the top shelf are going to be the newest ones, and you can tell that they're new because they're going to have a 14-day sticker on them. And then this section kind of contradicts everything I've said. It is alphabetical by series title, and then numerical within each series. So the first one in each series and on. And it's this entire unit here. So once you get past the new books, you start with the not new, and you go all the way to the last one. And we're going to have to expand. Looks like we're getting a little full over here. Alright. Once you get past Manga, then we go back to what I've said 1,000 times. Alphabetical by author's last name. And then if there's multiples of the same author, alphabetical by title. There's going to be a lot of series in here, so you're going to have a lot of that. There's also going to be, let's see, let me grab this one. So this is regular YA, so that's the spine label. And then there should be some, oh, here it is. I knew there was one hiding. Young adult PBC. Just like in the juvenile section, it just gets shelved right along. Alphabetical by author's last name. Now I can't get him back in there. Okay, I can fix him later. Alright, so that whole section wraps around, and then it ends here. And this starts our young adult nonfiction section. So, young adult, YA, and then nonfiction, just like the other nonfiction sections with Dewey Decimal. Alright, that's this whole section. I don't believe there's any biography in this section. If there would be, it would be at the end. And then the young adult graphic novels. The top shelf is going to be the new ones. They're going to have that 14-day sticker. And the rest are going to be alphabetical by author's last name. Just go by your spine label, just like any other section. And there actually are going to be some nonfiction and some biographies in this section as well, just like the other sections. Alright, let's just keep going. Right. Magazines. These are Kentucky magazines, so Kentucky Weekly, Monthly. We try to keep the most recent magazine on the top, and you can tell it's the most recent. We have a label here on the front with the date, and then any other like backdated magazines are going to be in behind. And this is just part of it, and then we go all the way to the pillar there. These are, like I said, the adult nonfiction, and they just have the regular Dewey Decimal label, and they're just numerical. Now I am going to point out something to you that you'll see occasionally throughout the library. We have this K on the spine label. That just means it's a Kentucky book. It's either a Kentucky author or a Kentucky subject matter. And you can kind of ignore that as far as shelving is concerned, because it doesn't really have a special place, at least not yet. So just shelve them right along with everything else. Alright, so let's go this way. We're going to kind of jump past some shelves, but I do have some stuff at the end I need to show you. So I did talk about end caps. I've mentioned it a couple times. There's end caps on both sides of these shelves, and the same idea. If you've got a book that looks nice, preferably in this section if it is part of this section, just to kind of show people, oh, this is the kind of books we have down this aisle. Maybe you want to go down and check them out, see what we've got to offer. You may also have noticed we have easels. If you see an empty easel, you can do the same thing with those. Alright, so down here, we kind of end the regular nonfiction here, and then we start the large type. So it's the same thing, they're just the bigger print books. There's not going to be as many of them, but they are important. And sometimes if you can't find a book in regular print, you may find it in large print. And once you end the nonfiction with the Dewey Decimal numbers, there are some biographies back here. And then there's also some oversized. And be careful with these because sometimes they're really big and heavy, especially the top shelves. We do want to be careful there. If you're having trouble with those, ask somebody that may be a little taller. I know I have that problem, to get those for you, or to put those up. But they are going to be numerical. Now let me show you. You've seen the large type. Oversized literally has a spine label that says oversized. So if you're not sure, that's there. There's a couple biographies at the end of this one. Not as many as the other sections, but it'll just have that B for biography. Alright. Now we do have, for the regular nonfiction, there's a whole big biography section. I'm going to show you that now. Alright. This is our super huge biography section. Okay, this is only part of it. This section, and then it jumps over the door, and then this section. So it's this whole wall is biographies. And just like the others, they are alphabetical by subject matter. And there's going to be a couple K's over here. So let's see. So this is just like I said, it's so this is a Kentucky person. So, you know, we all need a little Billy Ray Cyrus in our lives. And like I said, it jumps over the door, so it ends here and then starts up again over here, just alphabetical. See, there's no end caps over here, but we do have these easels. And I think I saw, no, one last thing, and then we'll be done with the shelf. So this top shelf are the large type new books. And like I said, the new books generally have this 14-day sticker. So large type books, alphabetical by author's last name. Fiction books, and fiction will end here. We have graphic novels, of course, adult, young adult, this entire middle section, biographies, and then we'll have nonfiction. Now, across the top is going to be kind of like the end caps. If you've got a book that looks kind of good, you think people will be interested in, you can put it across the top. Something else that I'll do is, it's too big to really stand on the shelf, put it across the top. These that stand up, kind of the same idea as well, just a little mini display. We try to take care of this so you guys don't have to worry about it as much because we're closer to it, but it doesn't always happen if we get busy. Let me show you something else really quick, and then we'll let you get out of here. So these shelves will probably be full with books. We usually put those new books on the top shelf and the nonfiction on the second shelf. So that's where we put them once we have checked them in. So put them here, and then you would roll over. We have a purple cart that lives in nonfiction. So you would roll that over, load these up, and that's where you would take, or you load it up from the purple cart and take it to nonfiction and shelf from there. Like I talked about the green cart. There's a fan there. And then we would do the same thing. The green cart, this is the books I would put the freshly checked in books on this one. So we try to do fiction, large type, paperback. So you would know which ones would go where. And that would really help with those paperbacks that are not paperbacks. We would put those in the right sections here, and you would roll that green card over and shelf from there. And alright, I think that's really all I have to say today. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. If you're confused, ask. There's always a staff member ready, and of course you can ask me. And again, this is the Richmond location of the Madison County Public Library. If you have any questions about Berea, you can contact Kara Woods there. And you can come if you are interested in volunteering, you're not yet a volunteer, You can come by the front desk and ask for an application, or you can check out our website at madisonlibrary.org. Thanks for watching.